even though the online business manosphere, whatever, is corrupted by so many online info product sellers or anything like that. I'm not saying it's a negative thing, but all of these people who do sell that, it's never actually, as I've realized, online business is never an info issue, right? It's never a thing of like that person knows something that you don't. So that now, oh yeah, if I know that thing that he knows, I can now do exactly what he's doing. It's actually never that. The biggest needle mover is just one thing. Is that I've worked in marketing specifically for online coaches for quite a while now, and as I've seen from a lot of the students, they already know what to do before they even get onto the mentorship or anything like that. They already know what to do. The biggest needle mover is application of said information. So the biggest detriment is that people, they already know what to do, they just don't do it. Everybody knows what to do. The issue is that people are always looking for things like productivity hacks, and I always have like a kind of negative bias towards this idea of productivity hacks, because why are you looking for a hack? The short way out, the shortcut, and stuff like that. Because the shortcut is usually the long way, just because of the fact that you're spending so much time looking for an easier way. Now it just leads to a longer road, a shortcut to your happiness. For example, if you was really wanted to indulge in food and anything like that, a shortcut to your happiness is eating that burger, eating it 10 times, eating it 20 times. Building a diet of KFC and McDonald's and whatever. But now it creates a long-term issue, the long way. You know, as they say that it is very very simple. What people usually tend to not understand this is that short-term gratification. Actually, you know what? I use a better quote. If you don't sacrifice something for your goals, then your goals will become the sacrifice. Now, let me repeat that. If you do not sacrifice something for your goals, then your goals will become the sacrifice. Meaning that either way, you're going to have to sacrifice something. You're going to have to sacrifice your short term gain or short term pleasure for a long term goal. Or you're going to have to sacrifice your long term goal and desires and ambitions for short-term pleasure. Either way, it's going to be a sacrifice. People just use or sacrifice the first part just because of the fact that it's more prevalent. It's easy to sacrifice something when it's too far away. If it's easy to eat that burger now, you're not thinking about something further away just because of how far it is. But back to what I was saying, I digress. Productivity hacks suck just because of the fact that you're looking for something that is going to make it easier for you. The best place for growth is in an area of pain. Okay? For you to grow, it has to be something painful. Okay? You can never grow in a situation where it's comfort, you know, because ambition dies where complacency lies. Complacency? Yeah. So ambition dies there. There's a reason as to why. It's because whenever you're in a place where you're comfortable, let's just say for example, and I heard this quote from Chris Williamson as well, is that people are better off worse off. And I'm going to use his example as well. Is that, let's say, for example, you lived in a house and the house had mold and the house had, just minor inconveniences like a little bit of mold on the top of the roof or whatever, that you feel like, okay, I can just paint over it. It's kind of a little bit embarrassing when the family or friends come over, but it's not that deep at the end of the day. You're not thinking about it consistently. You're just like, you know, that's what happens. But then, let's just say this exact same house. Actually, no, I'll go back. You're not likely to change in that first instance, are you? Just because of the fact there's a little minor inconvenience. It's a little bit embarrassing. That's it. You're not likely to change. But then, let's say in the second scenario where your house is now falling down to bits. The walls are falling over. There's mice everywhere. There's the bed bugs and stuff like that. Which one of those is more likely to make a change? It's always going to be the latter. Why? Because in worse situations, people are more likely to change that just because they have like a higher desire for betterment. You know, that's why you hear so many rags to riches stories. I was with a single mother. I was in the flipping depths of Dagestan, and I was Francis Ngannou. I was coming from Cameroon or etc. Whatever, and I was a minor, and then I made it, 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 and then I made it. Right? That's the kind of the story of every self-made millionaire. Just because of the fact that People who are middle class or in better positions, they're less likely to make that change because it is less important to them and they are in less pain. That's the only difference, is that the people who make it, like as it says by James Clear, he said, the winners and the losers have the same goals. The issue is never about your goal, right? The issue is about the situation and the environment it's in. Because as you say, environment matters more than discipline. Environment matters more than motivation. It matters more because if your environment is in a worse off position, you're more likely to change the environment and put yourself in a better position. Just because of the fact that there's a lot of pain. Another thing, right, is that people have issues with their time horizon and have unrealistic expectations and goals. They just think, you know what, this is my first online business and I'm gonna make money with it, and I'm gonna, reach all my goals, buy my house, all of these type of things. I'm the same. I was probably worse because if anybody knows me personally, then they'll probably say I'm the most delusional guy that I've met, just because of the fact that I have such uber confidence in myself that I thought, even on my first online business, I was like, I'm gonna make this work. It's gonna 100% work. Blah blah blah. But even me, no, I wouldn't say I succumbed, but as they say in MMA, or anything that has got to do with combat sports or just sports in general, father time always wins. In this situation, it's father experience, father knowledge, father commitment. I didn't understand how much I needed to commit to a business. I didn't understand. I needed to, these are the things I needed to do. These are the things I needed to sacrifice, and these are things that I wasn't willing to do because why? I wasn't in enough pain. The situation I was in was okay. I was still making money, but I wasn't at the goal I wanted to be, and it didn't hurt as much. It needs to hurt for you to ever succeed in anything like that. It needs to hurt, and I see this in direct examples of my family members, in everyone that I see that's become successful. They were in horrible, horrible situations, and you need to understand, right? Another quote: "Heavy is the crown." But heavy is the crown. It means that wearing a crown in itself is difficult to put on. Okay, to get to the position where you're able to hold a crown, you have to be royalty. You have to be all of these type of things. Now, relate this back to business. To get to a position where you see success, or you gain the benefits and become a beneficiary of the success that you built, the businesses that you built, and now your family is now a beneficiary of these successes as well, is by holding something heavy. It's kind of the same thing as earlier. If you do not seek pain, then you will never ever see or bear any fruits. And there was another thing from Herbert Hoover, which was the 30. Well, no, he's the 31st president. Well, he was the president in 19 till 1933 anyway, for America. He had a whole ideology, not ideology per se. I would say like a whole way of thought, a little bit, of rugged individualism, which means that it's the whole idea of meritocracy, which means that you get what you work for. If you work for X, you're gonna get Y. People, always say, "Oh yeah, I'm in a worse position. This person's middle class. I'm working class. They've already got step up. They're already one step up in the race. They've already got a head start." All of these type of things. But if you live anywhere in the West, if you live anywhere in Europe, I would say, if you live anywhere in America, Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia, all of these type of things, the world is your oyster. It's completely meritocratic, and it's completely like you get what you work for. And I would even say that Africa in itself, or Asia, or anything like this, yeah, is also relatively meritocratic, which means that you're obviously not gonna. It's not gonna be as easy because there's gonna be less opportunities or less stuff because of the country that you're in and those type of things. Like obviously, if you're a miner in Cameroon, it's gonna be more difficult than a person who's going to university in California or whatever. But relative to the people in Africa, you can still succeed. Okay. So it is also meritocratic in the basis of geographical location. But understanding this here is allows you to break free from the victim mindset of like, he's winning, he got a head start, no but him. There is a quote, let me try and remember this directly, is that winners focus on winning, losers focus on the winners, right? And this is very powerful because you hear all of these conversations about people and stuff like that, and I also heard this from Andrew Tate. So he's saying he saw two people on a date, and these two people on a date just spent the whole day speaking about other people's achievements, sports, whatever, other people's achievements and stuff like that. Nothing of any value or, you know, anything about themselves, whatever. Nothing of pride that they can, be happy about. They just start speaking about other people's achievements, right? And this is, as bluntly as I'm going to put it, is that just because of the fact that whether they have an interest or not is irrelevant. They might just, like the sport. That's just the day of the conversation. But I'm just saying, overall, holistically, is that is a losing mentality. It's that for you to actually believe, or for you to only discuss, I'm saying for overall, holistically, if all you discuss is other people's achievements, then you fall into the realm of the losers because you're not focusing on the more important thing, which is how can I win? All it is, they stop at step two. If they did one more step, right, they can see, oh, this guy's winning, this guy's winning, this guy's winning. That's the conversation that they're having. If they done step three, which is, how can I get there? Why am I not there? What's the difference between me and him? What's the gap? Is it a knowledge gap? Is it a time gap? Is it a head start gap? Usually these head starts aren't that much of a difference just because of the fact that you're living in the West. You have everything here. If you actually spend some time, like for example, there was another quote, is that I'm really rich, the world just has to catch up, right? Because being rich is not just something in the bank. It's just not just it's a money thing. It's not just like, oh, I can buy this Lambo. It's an identity, right? The difference between you and someone is not because of a head start. It's just an identity issue, right? Because you are not the person. You shouldn't believe in yourself. You shouldn't say, oh yeah, I'm going to believe in myself. You shouldn't believe in yourself. Why? Because you are not the type of person, or you not like capable to make that money, or you not deserve it. Like, you don't deserve it. For being completely honest, you, me, anyone else who has not made millions and millions and millions of dollars do not deserve it. Explicitly, objectively, because of the fact that we've not made it yet. If we did, we would get it. Obviously, there might be a little bit of lag or whatever, where to the point where the work that you're putting in is not directly representative. That's the whole idea of delayed gratification and stuff like that. But even then, you still don't necessarily directly deserve it. All it is that that's why I completely believe in this idea of rugged individualism, which he completely got berated for. Herbert Hoover, he got slighted for. I think that was one of the bigger reasons as to why he lost the election, or he didn't run. It's just the fact that you need to understand you're in this by yourself, right? There's nobody here to help you. Okay, you should never believe in yourself. Just believe in your ability to become the person that is rich, to become the identity, to change your habits and your systems and the things that you do on a daily basis. Because if you think about it, even though as crazy as this sounds, Molly May, the Love Island sweetheart of Tommy Fury, right? Even as crazy as the sound, she said something that was very powerful that she also got berated for. Everybody has the same 24 hours. Okay, me, you, like you're right now, I'm spending my 24 hours making this video. You're spending some of your 24 hours watching this video, and I'm gonna spend one of my 24 hours watching someone else, like, flipping anybody, Andrew Huberman, whatever. Maybe watch a debate. Maybe I'm just gonna be spending it. It's expenditure, right? It's like I'm spending money. That's how I believe it. Is that every single time I spend my time watching something, it's like I'm spending money to do so. So understand, value your time, okay, and understand you're in this by yourself. There is nobody to help you. Have no expectations upon anybody. The only expectation you should have is that they're gonna do the worst. Because if anybody does, if any, you should have not directly that expectation. You should just have the thought about it and think, okay, what if it goes wrong, and then plan ahead. That way, you're not stuck with your tail between your legs. Rugged individualism, and even though you're watching this video, make sure you understand that you don't learn how to swim by reading about water. You learn how to swim by swimming. Okay? So, oh you, I'd get off this video and you already know what to do. I told you before, it's not an information issue. Get directly to the YouTube video. Oh, sorry, get directly to the work that you know you need to do. Right? You've already got the business model. You already know exactly what you need to do. You're just not doing it. So get to that and don't speak to me again.